I want to talk to you properly, Olivia says as soon as I step inside. I answer without looking at her. Talk then? Her voice shakes. You really did it? You brought lawyers into this house. I place my keys down slowly. You brought lies into it first. Mia stands behind her, whispering, Dad, please don't be like this. I look at her. Like what, Mia? She struggles. Like you've already decided everything. Olivia interrupts fast, because you have decided everything without us. I turn to her calmly. No. I waited long enough. Silence drops. Mia steps forward, tears already forming. I didn't understand anything. He made it sound like you were hurting us. I ask quietly, and you believed him without asking me once? She lowers her head. I was scared you would be angry. I reply softly, I was the only one not allowed to be scared. Olivia steps closer now, voice sharp. You don't see what you've done to this family? I say, I finally saw what was being done to me. Her breathing gets uneven. We were trying to protect Mia. By hiding everything from me? I ask. She hesitates. That hesitation answers more than words. Mia wipes her face. Is Daniel really gone? I answer, yes. Her voice cracks immediately. So everything he said, was it all fake? I pause. Not all. That's what makes it worse. Olivia whispers, you destroyed him. I look at her. No. He was removed by truth, not me. That line hits her harder than she expects. Mia suddenly sits on the stairs, crying quietly now. I didn't want any of this. I look at her longer. My voice stays steady. I know. Olivia shakes her head. You've become someone else. I reply, no. I stopped pretending. Silence spreads again. Then Olivia asks softer, do you even love us anymore? That question lingers in the air. I answer after a moment, love doesn't disappear. Trust does. Mia whispers, can we fix it? I look at both of them. My voice is calm, final, controlled. Not the way it was. Olivia looks down, broken but still trying to hold herself together. So this is punishment? I shake my head. This is consequence. Mia stands again, wiping her face. I'm sorry, Dad. I really am. I nod once. I believe you. That confuses her. But you're still leaving? I step toward the door slightly. I'm not leaving you. I'm leaving what broke us. Olivia's voice turns almost silent. And what happens to us now? I reply, you stop hiding. I stop reacting. Mia whispers, that sounds like goodbye. I say, it's not goodbye. It's distance. Olivia laughs once, broken. Same thing. I answer, only if you keep living in lies. A long silence follows. No one argues after that. Because there is nothing left to argue with. I open the door. Cold air enters instantly. Mia calls softly, Dad? I stop but don't turn. She asks, are you coming back? I answer honestly, not as the same person. Olivia whispers behind her, we lost you. I say quietly, you lost the version that didn't see anything. Then I step outside. Behind me, the house doesn't feel like home anymore. It feels like a place where truth finally arrived too late. I walk forward without looking back again. Not angry. Not broken. Just clear. I tried convincing myself that I was imagining things. For 2 days, I avoided thinking about Mia's behavior. I buried myself in work, stayed longer at the office, and kept repeating Olivia's words inside my head. Our family is fine. But every time I came home, something felt colder. One afternoon, I entered the living room quietly and heard Mia whispering. I told you he almost saw it, she said. Then Daniel answered, relax. He didn't notice anything. The second I stepped inside, silence crashed over the room. Mia grabbed her phone immediately. Daniel looked down at the tray in his hands. I forced a smile. What didn't I notice? Mia shrugged too quickly. Nothing. Daniel cleared his throat. We were talking about a broken plate. A broken plate? I repeated. Yeah, Mia said. I dropped one earlier. I looked at the trash can. No broken plate. For a moment, nobody spoke. Then Olivia walked downstairs. Ethan, you're home early. Apparently too early. She frowned. What does that mean? Nothing. I hated how tense my own voice sounded. Olivia crossed her arms. You've been acting strange lately. I could say the same thing about everyone else. Mia stood up immediately. I'm going upstairs. Why does everybody leave when I walk into a room? I asked. She froze for half a second before turning back toward me. Dad, you're overthinking again. The word again bothered me, as if my concerns were becoming annoying to them. That night, Olivia sat beside me in bed while reading messages on her phone. I stared at the ceiling for a long moment before speaking. "Do you think Mia is hiding something from me?" Olivia sighed heavily. "Why are you obsessed with this?" "I'm not obsessed. You question every little thing now. I'm trying to understand what's happening inside my house." She locked her phone and looked at me carefully. "Nothing is happening. Then why does it feel like everyone is avoiding me? You're making tension where there isn't any." I turned toward her. "And you? Why are you so distant lately?" Her expression hardened slightly. "I'm tired, Ethan. You always say that." "Because it's true." I wanted to continue arguing, but something stopped me. Fear. Not fear of anger. Fear of hearing an answer I would not survive. The next evening, I came home during dinner preparations. I walked into the kitchen quietly again. Mia and Daniel stood near the counter talking softly. "I can't keep doing this," Mia whispered. Daniel replied carefully, "You need to stay calm." Then Mia noticed me. Her face drained of color. Daniel instantly stepped away from her. I tried pretending I had heard nothing. "Smells good in here." "Dinner's almost ready," Daniel said quickly. Mia grabbed a glass of water with shaking hands. I watched both of them carefully. Every movement suddenly felt suspicious. Every silence felt louder. Even simple things began bothering me. Mia stopped leaving her bedroom door open. Olivia smiled less whenever I mentioned family dinners. Daniel avoided looking directly into my eyes unless necessary. None of those things proved anything, yet my mind kept connecting them together like pieces of a puzzle I wanted to solve. During dinner, Olivia tried keeping the conversation normal. "How was work?" she asked. "Busy. That's all. What else should I say?" She looked irritated. "You don't need to answer like that." Mia stared down at her plate the entire time. I finally looked at her. "Are you okay?" "Yes." "You seem nervous." "I'm fine. You've said that 100 times this week." She pushed her chair back suddenly. "Can I go now? You barely touched your food." "I'm not hungry." After she left, silence filled the table. Olivia put her fork down. "You're pressuring her too much." I asked one question. "No, you interrogate her every day." I laughed bitterly. "Maybe because nobody tells me the truth anymore." Daniel lowered his eyes immediately. Olivia's voice became cold. "What exactly are you accusing us of?" The word "us" hit me hard. I looked between them and instantly hated myself for doing it. "I'm not accusing anyone," I muttered. But deep inside, trust was cracking apart piece by piece. Later that night, I sat alone in the living room pretending to watch television. Mia walked past me toward the stairs. Something small slipped from her hand onto the floor. She didn't notice. A folded piece of paper. Before I could reach for it, Daniel appeared from the kitchen. He saw the note. Then he looked directly at me. For one long second, neither of us moved. Finally, he bent down casually, picked up the paper, and slid it into his pocket. "Just some grocery numbers," he said quietly. I nodded slowly. "Right." Mia disappeared upstairs without turning around. Daniel walked back into the kitchen. And I remained frozen on the couch with a heavy feeling inside my chest. Every instinct told me something was wrong. But I still could not force myself to confront them. Maybe I was afraid of looking foolish. Or maybe I was afraid of being right. So instead of reacting, I made a decision. I would stay quiet. I would watch carefully. And I would wait for the truth to reveal itself. I could not sleep that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Daniel slipping that folded note into his pocket while Mia walked away pretending nothing had happened. Beside me, Olivia slept quietly. At least I thought she was sleeping. I turned toward her. "You awake?" "No," she murmured immediately. The answer almost made me laugh. "You've barely spoken to me all week," I whispered. "I'm exhausted, Ethan." "You keep saying that. Because you keep asking questions." I stared at the darkness above us. "Something feels wrong." She let out a frustrated breath. "Not everything is a conspiracy." "I never said it was." "Then stop acting like everybody is hiding secrets from you." Her tone stung more than I expected. I sat up slowly. "Are they?" Silence. Then she rolled over. "Go to sleep." I looked toward the bedroom window after that. Rain tapped softly against the glass, and the backyard lights painted weak shadows across the grass. Something inside me refused to rest. Around midnight, I heard a faint sound downstairs. A door opening. I froze. Carefully, I got out of bed without waking Olivia. I walked quietly toward the window and moved the curtain slightly. At first, I saw nothing. Then movement near the backyard fence. My heartbeat stopped. Mia stood outside wearing a hoodie over her pajamas. Daniel stood a few feet away from her beneath the dim garden light. My chest tightened instantly. What are they doing? I whispered to myself. Their voices were too low to hear clearly through the glass, but I could tell the conversation was serious. Mia kept shaking her head nervously. Daniel looked calm, almost like he was trying to reassure her. I grabbed my phone with trembling hands and switched on the camera. Part of me hated myself for doing it. Another part needed proof that I was not losing my mind. I started recording. Outside, Mia crossed her arms tightly. I could barely hear fragments through the rain. I don't know how much longer, she whispered. Daniel answered softly, you need to trust me. Trust me. The words hit me harder than they should have. Mia looked terrified. What if he finds out? My stomach twisted violently. Daniel stepped closer. He won't. He notices everything now. He's suspicious, not certain. I pressed the phone tighter in my shaking hand. Suspicious. Certain. The conversation sounded like something far worse than I had imagined. Mia suddenly covered her face with both hands. I hate lying to him. Daniel lowered his voice again, but I caught enough. We're protecting him. Protecting me? Nothing made sense anymore. If they were protecting me, why hide meetings in the middle of the night? Why whisper like criminals? Why lie constantly? I zoomed the camera slightly. My breathing became uneven. For years, Daniel had worked inside my home. He cooked our meals, sat at our table, smiled at me every morning. And now he stood outside with my daughter after midnight, speaking in secrets. Mia looked toward the house nervously. What about Olivia? Daniel answered quickly, she said she'll handle it. The second I heard Olivia's name, cold fear spread through my entire body. I turned toward the bed instinctively. Empty. Olivia was gone. For a moment, I genuinely could not breathe. I looked back outside immediately. Mia paced anxiously through the wet grass. This is getting worse. I know, Daniel replied. She deserves to know eventually. We can't risk it yet. Dad already feels something. My chest hurt so badly that I pressed my hand against it. Dad already feels something. So they knew. All of them knew. I kept recording while trying to steady my breathing. Questions crashed through my mind faster than I could control them. What exactly were they hiding? Why was Olivia involved? Why did Mia sound afraid? And why did Daniel seem like the one controlling everything? Mia suddenly looked close to tears. I never wanted this. Daniel moved nearer carefully. Nobody did. You promised things would calm down. They will. When? Soon. The backyard fell silent for several seconds except for the rain. Then Mia whispered something that shattered me completely. I feel guilty every time he smiles at me. I nearly dropped my phone. My own daughter. Speaking about me like I was some obstacle standing between them and a secret life. I wanted to run outside. I wanted to scream. I wanted answers immediately. But my legs would not move. I stayed frozen beside the window while my entire world slowly collapsed. Finally, Mia wiped her eyes. I should go back inside. Daniel nodded. Act normal. I'm trying. You have to do better now. Those words made my stomach turn again. Act normal. Do better. Every sentence sounded like betrayal. Mia hurried toward the back door and disappeared inside. Daniel remained outside alone for another minute, staring down at the wet ground. Then he walked toward the servants' quarters behind the garage. I stopped recording. My hands were shaking uncontrollably now. When I looked at the video on my screen, reality became impossible to deny. Whatever was happening inside my home was real. The peaceful life I believed in no longer existed. And for the first time in my life, my own house felt unfamiliar to me. I stopped trusting silence after that night. Every quiet conversation felt dangerous. Every locked phone felt personal. Every glance between Mia, Olivia, and Daniel made my chest tighten. The next morning, I barely touched breakfast. Olivia noticed immediately. You look terrible. I didn't sleep. You've been acting paranoid for days. I looked directly at her. Where were you last night? Her hand froze around her coffee cup. What? You weren't in bed. I went downstairs for water. For how long? She stared at me carefully now. Why are you interrogating me? I asked a question. And I answered it. Her calmness felt rehearsed. Mia entered the kitchen at that moment wearing headphones around her neck. Morning, she muttered. I watched her closely. Sleep well. Yeah. Interesting. She frowned. What's that supposed to mean? Nothing. Daniel walked in seconds later carrying fresh bread. "Good morning, Mr. Blake." I held his gaze longer than usual. "Morning." Unlike Mia and Olivia, he showed no nervousness at all. That unsettled me more than anything. During breakfast, nobody spoke much. I could feel tension hanging over the table like smoke. Finally, Olivia stood up. "I have errands today." "I'll drive with you," I said immediately. "No need. I insist." Her expression hardened for a second before softening again. "I'll be quick." After she left the room, Mia looked at me angrily. "Why are you acting like this?" "Like what?" "Like Mom did something wrong." I leaned back slowly. "Did she?" Mia grabbed her phone. "You're unbelievable lately." Then she walked away before I could stop her. The second I heard her bedroom door close, I looked toward Daniel. He calmly poured coffee into a cup. "You seem very relaxed," I said quietly. He met my eyes without hesitation. "Should I be nervous?" The question hit me hard. "I don't know," I replied. For the first time, a faint smile appeared on his face. Not friendly. Controlled. That expression stayed in my mind the entire day. By afternoon, I could no longer ignore my instincts. I began searching. First, I checked Olivia's office drawer while she showered upstairs. Bills, receipts, bank statements. Nothing unusual. Then I noticed an envelope hidden beneath an old notebook. Inside were transfer records. Several payments. All connected to Daniel Cross. My hands went cold instantly. I checked the dates carefully. The transfers had been happening for months. Large amounts. Far more than his salary. "What the hell is this?" I whispered. I photographed every page with my phone. Then I searched further. Another envelope. Another payment. This time labeled private assistance. None of it made sense. Why would Olivia secretly send money to Daniel? Why hide it from me? I heard footsteps upstairs and quickly shoved everything back into place. That evening, I confronted Olivia in our bedroom. I closed the door behind me. "We need to talk." She barely looked up from her phone. "About what now?" I held up the photographs. "About these." The second she saw them, her face changed. Only slightly, but enough for me to notice. "You searched my things?" she asked coldly. "Why are you giving Daniel money? That's your concern?" "Yes, Olivia. It absolutely is." She tossed the phone onto the bed. "You've officially lost your mind. Answer the question." "It's private." I laughed bitterly. "Private? You don't own every decision I make. So you secretly pay our cook thousands of dollars and expect me not to ask questions?" Her eyes narrowed instantly. "Lower your voice." "Why?" "Because Mia is downstairs." "Good. Maybe she should hear this too." Olivia stepped closer. "Nothing inappropriate is happening." "Then explain it." "I don't owe you explanations for every financial decision." "You hid it from me. Because you react exactly like this." My anger rose sharply. "Stop twisting this around on me." She crossed her arms. "You've become obsessive." I saw Mia meeting Daniel outside at midnight. Silence. Heavy silence. Then Olivia looked away briefly before speaking again. "You were spying on your own daughter?" "I was trying to understand why my family keeps lying to me." "No one is lying." I stared at her in disbelief. "Do you even hear yourself?" Before she could answer, the bedroom door opened slightly. Mia stood there nervously. "What's going on?" Olivia answered first. "Your father thinks everybody is against him." "That's not what I said." Mia looked exhausted suddenly. "Dad, please stop doing this." "Doing what?" "Turning everything into something ugly." I stepped toward her carefully. "Then tell me the truth." "There's nothing to tell." "Why were you outside with Daniel?" Her eyes widened slightly. "You watched us." "Yes." She looked genuinely hurt now. "That's insane." "No, what's insane is everybody acting suspicious while pretending I'm crazy." Mia's voice cracked slightly. "You don't trust us anymore." I opened my mouth but no answer came out. Because she was right. Trust was disappearing faster every day. Mia backed away toward the hallway. "I can't talk to you when you're like this." Then she left. Olivia followed her seconds later, leaving me alone in the bedroom. I stood there breathing heavily while my entire family drifted further away from me. Later that night, I found Daniel cleaning the kitchen calmly. "You seem very confident," I told him. He wiped the counter slowly. "About what?" "About everything." He looked directly into my eyes again. And once more that controlled little smile appeared. "Sometimes," he said quietly, "people only see what they want to see." Then he walked past me like nothing inside my home was falling apart. By the next morning, something inside me had changed. The confusion was fading. Pain remained. Anger remained. But denial was gone. I sat alone in my office staring at the photographs on my phone again. The secret payments. The late-night meeting. Mia whispering about guilt. Olivia protecting Daniel instead of answering me honestly. Every piece connected now. Not completely. But enough. For days, I had tried convincing myself there was some innocent explanation hiding behind all this secrecy. Now I no longer believed that. When I returned home that evening, the house felt colder than ever. Olivia stood in the kitchen preparing tea. "You're late," she said without looking at me. "Work. That's all you say lately." I placed my keys on the counter. Maybe because nobody here tells the truth anymore. She sighed heavily. "We're still doing this?" "No," I replied quietly. "Actually, I think I'm finally done talking." That answer caught her attention. She looked at me carefully. "What does that mean?" "It means I'm tired." "Of what?" "Feeling like a stranger in my own house." For a second, guilt flashed across her face. Then it disappeared again. Mia walked downstairs slowly. The moment she saw me, her shoulders tightened. "Hi," she muttered. "Hi." That was it. No warmth. No smile. Just distance. I studied her face while she poured herself water. "You okay?" I asked. She hesitated. "Why do you keep asking me that?" "Because you haven't looked happy in weeks." "I'm fine." The same answer again. Only now it sounded rehearsed. Before I could respond, Daniel entered carrying grocery bags. "Good evening, Mr. Blake." I stared at him quietly. Composed. Relaxed. Perfectly calm. As if nothing around him was collapsing. "Daniel," I said slowly, "come speak with me outside." Olivia instantly looked nervous. "Ethan?" "It's all right," Daniel interrupted gently. That confidence irritated me immediately. He followed me onto the back patio while rain clouds gathered above us. For several seconds, neither of us spoke. Then I turned toward him directly. "How long has this been going on?" He did not pretend to misunderstand. "That depends on what you believe is happening," he replied calmly. I laughed bitterly. "You're still playing games?" "I'm answering carefully. You meet my daughter secretly in the middle of the night. She came to me. You accept money from my wife. She offered help. You whisper behind my back inside my own house." His expression never changed. That terrified me more than panic would have. Finally, I stepped closer. "Tell me the truth." "I can't." "Can't or won't?" "Both." The answer hit me like a slap. I expected excuses, fear, at least some sign of guilt. Instead, he stood there looking almost sorry for me. "You think you're smarter than me?" I asked quietly. "No." "Then why are you acting so comfortable?" He looked toward the backyard fence before answering. "Because anger won't help you." I clenched my fists instantly. "Don't talk to me like you understand my feelings." "I understand more than you think." That sentence nearly broke my control. "You've been manipulating my family." "No." "You turned my daughter against me." "No." "You're lying." Daniel finally looked directly into my eyes again. And for the first time, I saw exhaustion behind his calm expression. "I never wanted you hurt," he said quietly. I stared at him in disbelief. "You expect me to believe that?" "I expect nothing anymore." The rain started falling lightly around us. Neither of us moved. Then I asked the question destroying me from the inside. "Does Olivia love you?" He stayed silent. That silence answered everything. A sharp pain spread through my chest so suddenly that I had to look away for a second. Years of marriage. Years of trust. Destroyed by silence. "I welcomed you into my home," I whispered. "I know. I trusted you. I know. And this is how you repay me?" Daniel's voice remained painfully calm. "Things are more complicated than you think." "Stop saying that." "It's true." "No," I snapped. "What's true is that everybody lied to me while pretending I was paranoid." He lowered his eyes briefly. "You weren't paranoid." Hearing those words nearly shattered me. Because finally, after all the denial and gaslighting and cold responses, someone admitted it. I was not imagining any of this. The betrayal was real. I stepped back slowly. Something strange happened inside me then. The anger did not disappear. It changed. Became quieter. Colder. More controlled. I suddenly understood that emotional reactions were useless now. Every argument only pushed my family further away. Every accusation gave them time to prepare excuses. Daniel noticed the shift immediately. You should calm down before making decisions, he said carefully. I almost smiled at that. For the first time in days, my voice became completely steady. Don't worry, I told him. I'm done reacting emotionally. He studied me closely. Ethan? No, I interrupted quietly. Now I'm going to start thinking clearly. The rain grew heavier between us. Inside the house, I saw Olivia watching nervously through the kitchen window. Mia stood behind her with tears in her eyes. And suddenly I understood something painful. I was losing my family piece by piece. But whatever game had been happening inside my home was no longer hidden from me. And I had no intention of remaining weak while they decided my future behind closed doors. The next morning I became someone else. Not outside. Outside I smiled normally. I drank coffee at breakfast. I asked Mia about school. I even thanked Daniel for making eggs. But inside something had gone cold. I stopped reacting emotionally. That was my first real advantage. Olivia studied me carefully during breakfast. You seem quiet. Just tired. You've said that every day this week. I took another sip of coffee. Maybe I finally accepted reality. Her eyes narrowed slightly. What does that mean? Nothing dramatic. Mia looked between us nervously. Can we not fight this morning? I'm not fighting, I replied calmly. That answer surprised all three of them, especially Daniel. He watched me carefully from the kitchen counter while pretending to clean dishes. For the first time, I noticed uncertainty in his expression. Good. After breakfast, I drove to my office and locked myself inside. Then I called the only person I trusted completely, James Carter. He answered after 2 rings. Ethan? I need legal advice. His voice instantly changed. What happened? I leaned back in my chair and closed my eyes briefly. I think my family has been lying to me for months. Slow down. So I told him everything. The secret meetings. The payments. The lies. The recordings. The strange conversations. James stayed silent until I finished. Finally, he asked carefully, Do you believe your wife is involved romantically with Daniel? I don't know anymore. And your daughter? That's the part destroying me. I heard him exhale slowly. Listen to me carefully. Right now you're emotional. I'm calmer than I was yesterday. Good. Stay that way. I rubbed my forehead tiredly. What should I do? Gather proof before making accusations. I already have recordings. Not enough. His answer frustrated me immediately. How is this not enough? Because suspicion feels stronger than evidence when emotions are involved. I stayed quiet. James continued calmly. Document everything. Financial records. Messages. Dates. Conversations. Don't confront them again unless necessary. And then we decide how to protect you legally. The word protect hit me harder than expected. As if my own home had become dangerous territory. Before hanging up, James spoke again. One more thing. What? If Daniel realizes you're planning something, he'll become careful. I stared at the office window silently. Too late. Daniel already knew something had changed inside me. That evening, I returned home acting perfectly normal. Olivia opened the door. You're home early. Finished work faster today. She looked suspicious immediately. Everything okay? Why wouldn't it be? The question made her uncomfortable. Good. At dinner, I played my role carefully. I laughed when appropriate. I asked Mia about school projects. I complimented Daniel's cooking. But while they relaxed, I observed everything. Every glance. Every nervous movement. Every silence. Mia finally smiled slightly during dinner for the first time in days. Dad. Yeah. You seem different today. I cut another piece of chicken slowly. Different good or different bad? She hesitated. Calmer. Olivia looked relieved by that answer. Daniel did not. He watched me with careful eyes now. As if he understood peace could sometimes be more dangerous than anger. Later that night, Olivia entered our bedroom quietly. You scared me this week, she admitted. I looked up from my laptop. How? You were acting unstable. The word almost made me laugh. Instead, I stayed calm. Maybe I overreacted. You think? I said maybe. She sat beside me carefully. I don't want us destroying this family. I turned toward her slowly. Neither do I. That part was true. Even after everything, part of me still wanted someone to tell me this nightmare was a misunderstanding. But facts kept destroying hope. The next afternoon, while everyone was busy downstairs, I entered Olivia's office again. This time I photographed entire folders. Bank transfers. Private withdrawals. Notes with Daniel's name. I uploaded everything to a secure drive James recommended. Then I checked old drawers and storage boxes. Eventually I found something worse. An envelope containing medical bills under Daniel's name. Paid entirely by Olivia. Large amounts. For nearly 2 years. My chest tightened immediately. Why would she hide this from me? What exactly connected them? I photographed everything carefully before putting it back exactly where I found it. That night, Mia knocked on my bedroom door. Can we talk? I closed my laptop slowly. About what? You've been avoiding me. I've been busy. That's not true. She stepped inside nervously. I know you're hurt. The sentence caught me off guard. Hurt by what? She looked down immediately. I just mean, everything lately. I studied her carefully. Do you want to tell me something? For a second I thought she might finally confess. Instead she shook her head. I just miss how things used to feel. Pain hit me sharply then. Because I missed that too. But I forced myself to stay controlled. We're all tired, I said quietly. Dad. I have work to finish. Her face fell instantly. Okay. After she left, guilt crushed me for several seconds. But emotional weakness would destroy me now. I could not afford it anymore. The next morning, I noticed Daniel watching me differently. More carefully. Less confidently. While preparing coffee, he finally asked, Everything all right, Mr. Blake? I looked directly into his eyes. And for the first time since this nightmare began, I saw uncertainty behind his calm mask. I smiled slightly. Better than before. He nodded slowly but said nothing else. At that moment I realized something important. The balance inside this house was changing. And for the first time in weeks, they no longer completely controlled the situation. Everything starts falling apart the moment James Carter calls me back and says we are moving forward legally. I sit in my office and say, Are you sure we are ready? And he replies, We are past waiting. I say, Then start everything, and he answers, It already has started. He tells me investigators are looking quietly into Olivia's financial records. I whisper, Don't let her notice. He says, She won't until it's too late. That evening I act normal at home. Olivia asks, Why are you so quiet now? I say, Just thinking about work. Mia looks at me and says, You feel different again. I reply, Maybe I finally stopped stressing. Daniel watches me carefully while preparing dinner. He asks, Everything okay, Mr. Blake? I say, Why wouldn't it be? And he doesn't answer. A few days later, James calls again. He says, We found something. I ask, What kind of something? He replies, Daniel Cross has a pattern. He has done this before in other cities, same emotional manipulation, same financial dependence. I feel my stomach drop and say, So it wasn't random. James answers, No, it was structured. I sit in silence and whisper, My daughter? And he interrupts, We are trying to help her understand carefully. At home, Mia finally approaches me crying. She says, Dad, I didn't know. I swear I didn't know. I ask, Know what exactly? She says, He made me think you were the problem. I feel my hands shake and say, He told you that? She nods and cries harder. Olivia tries to defend herself that night. She says, I was protecting Mia. I say, By lying to me? She replies, By preventing damage. I say, You caused it. The house becomes silent after that. No one eats properly. No one speaks normally. Even footsteps feel heavy. Later, investigators come through James' arrangement. Olivia is questioned in the living room. She says, I did what I thought was right. One investigator says, We will verify everything. Daniel is asked to step outside. I stand there and say, You knew this would happen. He replies quietly, I knew truth always surfaces. I ask him, Was anything real? He looks at me and says nothing for a long time, then says, Some of it was. Some of it wasn't. I stay silent. He is officially told to leave under legal pressure. Mia watches from the stairs crying. Olivia sits frozen. Daniel picks up his bag and says, I never wanted to destroy your home. I answer, But you did. He pauses at the door and says, No, it was already breaking when I arrived. Then he leaves. The house feels empty immediately. No shouting. No excuses. Just silence. I sit in the living room and say quietly, So this is what truth sounds like. James calls and says, This is only the beginning of sorting everything out. I reply, Then I will finish it properly this time. I sit alone after the call and think about everything James told me. It feels like the ground under my life is finally visible now. I open my laptop and begin organizing every file carefully. I say to myself, no more reacting. Only documenting. Later, Olivia tries to talk to me in the kitchen. She says, "Why are you shutting everyone out now?" I reply, "I am not shutting anyone out. I am observing." Mia says, "Dad, please talk to me like before." I answer, "I will talk when I understand everything." Daniel says, "You are changing." I say, "No, I am becoming clear." He looks away and says nothing. Olivia whispers, "You are scaring me." I reply, "I am finally seeing things as they are." The house feels different now, like everyone is waiting for something to explode. I keep my voice steady even when my chest hurts. I tell James again, "We need to move faster." He replies, "We already are." Mia breaks down in the hallway and says, "I didn't want this to happen." I say, "Then you should have trusted me." She cries, "I was confused." I answer softly, "Now everything is clear." Olivia stands in the doorway watching silently. I say, "This ends only one way now." Daniel prepares to leave the house under police instructions. I watch him and feel nothing but control. He says, "I hope you find peace." I reply, "Peace comes after truth." Mia watches him leave crying harder. I turn away instead of breaking. Olivia finally whispers, "What have we done?" I answer, "We found the truth we avoided." I sit down and open my notes again, planning what comes next. Everything inside me is calm now, not broken. I say quietly, "Now I will finish this properly." I no longer feel confusion when I look at them. I only see consequences now, not excuses. I tell myself that truth has already chosen its side. I understand that nothing will return to how it was. I stand up, close my laptop, and decide to wait for what comes next. I finally stop questioning and start preparing. Because now I know the truth is already moving without me. I'm ready for the end. Whatever happens now, I will not break again. "I think we should talk," Olivia says the moment I enter the house. I reply calmly, "We already have talked." She steps closer, eyes red. "No, Ethan, not like this. Please." Mia stands behind her, voice shaking. "Dad, I need to say something." I place my keys on the table. "Go ahead." Mia takes a breath. "I was wrong." I ask quietly, "About what exactly?" Her voice breaks. "About you. About Daniel. About everything." Olivia interrupts, "It wasn't that simple." I look at her. "Then explain it simply now." She hesitates. "I was trying to protect Mia. By hiding the truth from me? I didn't think you would understand." I nod slowly. "So you decided for me?" Mia steps forward. "He made it sound like you were controlling." I believed him. I say, "And you never asked me?" She cries harder. "I was scared." I answer softly, "So was I. Just for different reasons." Silence fills the room. Then Olivia says, "You're acting like you've already judged us." I respond, "No. I acted like I started seeing clearly." Her voice rises. "You brought investigators into this house. I brought truth into it." Mia whispers, "Dad, please. I didn't mean to hurt you." I look at her longer this time. "I know." That answer makes her cry even more. Daniel's name is not spoken at first. It hangs in the air like something already gone. Then Olivia finally says it. "Where is he?" I reply, "Gone." She shakes her head. "You pushed him out without understanding." I understood enough. Mia asks quickly, "Is he coming back?" I say, "No." Her knees almost give out. "So it's really over." I answer, "It was already over. We just delayed it." Olivia sits down slowly. "You don't even feel anything, do you?" I look at her. "I felt too much for too long." She whispers, "We were a family." I reply, "We were something. I don't know what anymore." Silence stretches again, heavier this time. Mia walks toward me carefully. "Can you forgive me?" I hesitate. Then I say, "I already did." She looks surprised. "But you're still leaving?" I turn slightly toward the door. Forgiving doesn't mean forgetting what happened. Olivia stands again. "So this is it?" I answer, "This is what's left of it." Her eyes fill again. "I never wanted this to break." I reply, "Neither did I." Outside, the house feels quieter than ever. No arguments. No secrets being whispered. Just truth sitting heavily between us. Mia follows me to the door. "Dad, don't go like this." I look at her one last time. "I'm not leaving you. I'm leaving what this became." She cries, "That's the same thing." I shake my head. No. It's not. Olivia stands behind her, silent now, no more explanations left. I open the door slowly. Cold air hits my face. For a moment I stop. Everything I built is behind me. Everything I lost is inside. But nothing is pulling me back anymore. I step outside. Mia says softly, "What happens now?" I don't turn around when I answer. Now we all live with what's true. The door closes behind me, but I don't flinch. I walk down the steps without rushing. No anger left to burn. No confusion left to fix. Only clarity. I breathe in deeply for the first time in what feels like years. The night feels open, almost empty. But for the first time, that emptiness doesn't scare me. I stand on the street and look back once. The house is still there. But it no longer feels like mine. I whisper to myself, it's over. Not as a loss. Not as revenge. But as understanding. Then I turn away and keep walking. Not broken. Not lost. Just finally awake to everything I refused to see.